Students, hopefully you've just come from filling out section number 4, the top flap of section number 4 of your Unit 4-5 flipbook. How do I factor was the essential question. And as I went through those steps, for many of you probably looked at that like, okay, I have no idea what you're doing. And I'm going to tell you that really what this takes is practice. If you do it a number of times, you'll start to get the hang of how this works. Now some of you can factor in your head, and I'm telling you right now, learn the process, because the more complicated the equation gets, the harder it will be to find the solution in your head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll over and just leave these steps visible on our screen, and grab a blank piece of paper right now, class. Pause the video, grab a blank piece of paper. Let's go through a couple practice problems. We won't have a lot of time to do practice in class, except for on our handouts. So the more practice, the better. Let's go ahead and write a few equations and try it. So I'm going to write the first equation. Let's just call this question number 1. I'm going to write y equals, oops, got to write this in standard form. So y equals x squared plus 6x plus 8. And the question is, we want to change this standard form to intercept form, and to do that we have to attempt to factor it. So if I were you now, I'd pause the video, try these steps, see if you can get to intercept form, then start the video again and watch my process and see if you are understanding the steps. So pause now. Alright, I'm assuming you gave it a try, or maybe you didn't try at all because you want to see another example. So let's go through this process. Step number 1, make sure the terms are in proper order. They are squared term first, exponent of one term second, and the constant or the c term on the end. Now let's take a look at the a value. Is the a value negative here? No, it is not. So I don't need to factor out a -1. Is there a greatest common factor? Let's take a look at that. We've got 1, 6, and 8. Hey, as soon as a is 1, class, you know there can't be a greatest common factor, because 1 is only found by multiplying 1 times 1. And there's no reason to pull a 1 out of all these terms. It doesn't really get us anywhere. So we know we don't have a greatest common factor to deal with, and we know we don't have a -a to deal with. We can go right to step 3. I'll try to keep these color-coded the same. So step 3. Identify A, B, and C. A is 1, B is 6, C is 8. Okay, step number 4 was to find two numbers that when multiplied together give us A times C, and when added together give us B. So we're going to go ahead and draw this eye-shaped thing. And on the top, we're going to write A times C. So A times C, 1 times 8 is 8. On the bottom, we're going to write the value of B, which is 6. And what step 4 is asking us? Find the two numbers that multiply together to give us 8 and add together to give us 6. And I'll put a little multiply here so you guys are reminded. Multiply to give us 8 and add together to give us 6. Let's try the combinations now. I'll just keep these in purple. Alright, I start with 1. 1 and 8. These two numbers always have to multiply to give you the top number. So 1 times 8 is 8. So I picked 1, and then I figured out, well, what times 1 gives me 8? It's 8. 1 and 8. 1 times 8 gives me 8? Check. 1 plus 8 gives me 9. No good. Doesn't work. Let's try the next combination. 2 goes into 8. 2 times what gives us 8? 2 times 4. So 2 times 4, hang on while I get that written. 2 times 4 gives us 8. 2 plus 4 gives us 6. We just found our combination. So 2 and 4 are the numbers we're going to use. So now in step number 4, here's what we do. We will write our original equation, y equals, the squared term stays the same, x squared, and the constant term on the end stays the same, plus 8. What we're going to do is, in the middle of this, we're going to split up our b term into two terms. I'll put underlines there so you see it. we're going to use the 2. So it's going to be positive 2x, because this is positive 2. And here is positive 4 plus 4x. Now mathematically, take a look, class. I think you can agree that step number 4 is the exact same equation as step number 1. There's no change. The only difference is we just took 2x and 4x and we just divided up the 6x into 2x and 4x. If you add those back together again, you get x squared plus 6x plus 8. Same equation. But here's the magic behind doing this. So now what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and combine. We're going to factor out common values. So now I'm going to underline this in green so you see I'm going to work with the first two terms first. So step number 5, we've got y is equal to, so for the first two terms, the common factor between x squared and 2x is x. They both have an x in them. Now we got to figure out what's left over, and I'm going to do the multiplication in reverse. X times what gives me x squared? X times x. X times what gives me 2? Positive 2. So we have factored out the x value. Now let's take the next two terms, the positive 4x plus 8. Let's take a look at what the common terms are here. And we do have a common term. It's 4. There's a 4 in 4x. There's a 4 in 8. There's not an x in both of these, so we can't factor out an x. We can factor out a 4. Positive 4. What's left over? 4 times what gives us 4x? 4 times x. 4 times what gives us 8? Positive 2. Here's the magic again. Take a look. When you finish step number 5, take a look at the binomial. That's the common term of both of these. It's exactly the same. And it needs to be. If these two binomials aren't identical in step 5, you have made a mistake. You are not factoring correctly. Okay, we are good to go. Step number 6. Let's write our final, oops, I want that in purple. Step number 6, we're going to go ahead and rewrite our equation and finish our factoring. So now take a look again. We have factored out an x. We have factored out a positive 4. We can write those as a separate binomial, x plus 4. And then our common binomial that we factored out in step number 5, or that we were left over with in step number 5, is x plus 2. And we have changed our equation in step 1 from standard form to intercept form. Now class, you want to check to see if you did this right? Remultiply, redistribute these two binomials, and if you get back to x squared plus 6x plus 8, then we know we have done it correctly. Let's go ahead and do a check and see if we've done it correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and write this out. Y, I'm just going to do it over here, and I'll put the word check. Okay, y equals x plus 4 times x plus 2. We're going to go ahead and distribute the x to the x plus 2, and the positive 4 also distributes to the x plus 2. Let's combine our monomial and our binomial. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is positive 2x. 4 times x is positive 4x. 4 times 2 is positive 8. We always have common terms in the middle. And we're going to end up with y equals x squared plus 6x plus 8. And that matches our original standard form quadratic. So we know we have factored correctly. There's example number 1. I'm going to start the video new and we'll try a second example.